Planet of the Apes, man. We're going to go see Planet of the Apes. So I look on the iPhone app, and it says, okay, take me to this one. And the guy goes, okay. I go, is that in a good neighborhood? He's like, oh, yeah. Guy barely speaks English. He takes us there. We get out, and we're giggling. Oh, we're going to go see Planet of the Apes. We walk into Planet of the Apes. We walked into Africa, dude.
Da, 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 da.
Exactly.
Superman.
Superman. Everything's so connected. My existence was definitely designed for this, because I suspect all non-white people's existence is designed for this duty of solving this race problem. Because Superman's this character, I've always thought, wow, this is a pretty boring character. I don't like this guy. He's a white person who could do anything. He's so, I would call it overpowered. Now I would just say he just has too much white awesome power. So there's nothing hurts him, nothing hurts Superman. But as I become less confused, I see, wow, this character is something else. And we're just gonna I'm gonna start with Kyrie and Harold's decodings and analysis of Superman, because just reading his material has allowed me to keep some information that came into mind about this character, that stuff I always heard about him, quotes I always heard about him, but it didn't really mean anything until I had the context of race and white supremacy in my mind. So I'm just gonna read a little bit from 212. Superman, the 1950s hit Superman. The 1950 hit television series Superman was based on a DC comic. Popular character Superman used words, images, and symbols very effectively. The character of Superman was one of the greatest symbols of the power of white male supremacy. His purpose was to promote truth, justice, and the American way. Millions of young white male children identified with this display of white power. They often quoted the words faster than a speeding bullet, more powerful than a locomotive, able to leap tall buildings in a single bound. The social impact of these words and symbols on the youthful imagination of white males was staggering. Millions of young white would-be superstars imagined themselves to be more super than Superman. Years later, thousands of these white dreamers became space engineers and designed spacecrafts and other super mechanical devices to fulfill their dreams. Superman means superior man or supreme man. The Superman character is a white male with superpowers. He is considered a supreme male power. And then he goes on to share more about what Superman means. I was, buy Race Cold War, find it wherever it is available. I'm going to skip a little bit. He says, goes in onto his abilities, and there's many interesting aspects. Maybe other folks had things they want to read or highlighted from this section. But from this area right here, 213, he says, Superman episodes had many dazzling special effects besides the entertainment value. What do these super skills really mean? Among his abilities, those that deserve special attention are the ability to fly, super speed, and strength, and X-ray vision. What do the ability symbolize? First, the ability to fly symbolizes superior air power. The dazzling blitzkrieg Hitler, that was superior air power right there. But continuing, the dazzling speed is the swiftness of the mighty war machine. The incredible strength of the military, technological, economic, and political power. Third, the X-ray vision is the spying apparatus and advanced communication technology of the intelligence agency. Superman has the power to see everything, which is the symbol of the all-seeing eye. The Superman, he's very capable. He is like the system of race and white supremacy. He's very capable of doing what needs to be done to maintain itself and to expand itself, because that's what this is the most powerful system to ever come into existence in our reality of comprehension. So and reading this, I thought, wow, Superman, and I that quote from earlier, able to leap tall buildings. I'm like, what else is Superman called? He's called the Man of Steel, right? He's called the Man of Steel. And it's also reminding me of earlier, Smokey Diamond just mentioned the survival of the fittest. White people created this concept of survival of the fittest, where they have outfitted themselves with like tools of destruction. They're the ones who produce, the bullets, and they also produce the tools and equipment that protects you from bullets, like bulletproof vests, bulletproof, doors and cars and whatnot. So they're really, they're fitted to survive, compared to more than any non-white group on the planet. So the survival of the fittest is just white supremacy, rationality and nonsense and insanity. And back to Superman being a man of steel, steel is a huge component to how white people have, conquered the planet. They produce guns, and then 2022 they're producing other tools of destruction, drones, now AI drones, now dog drones that are going to be able to eliminate people. So white people are, the people of steel. They've used steel to dominate us viciously throughout the system. So just like Batman is called the Cape Crusader, and that rings to the white mind of their ancient times of crusading and their capes and garments and decapitating non-white people for whatever reason that they just for the practice of white supremacy. Just like that echoes something into the white mind when someone hears Superman, man of steel. I think white people are like, yeah, we are. Yeah, we put steel to good use. We made cars, we made guns, we made nukes. Yeah, we are the people of steel, the man of steel. Or maybe just a victim who's totally insane and who should be put down because I just my thinking has been so sabotaged. That comments, questions, notes to share?
When Superman, I just say this is just another white supremacist propaganda masterpiece. It's such a massive, it's a masterpiece on the part of racist man and racist woman. I mean, yeah, I just call it ultimate white supremacist assurance and reinforcement in the form of Superman, right? It reinforces that even if you go halfway around the universe, the most powerful people in existence in the universe are people who are classified as white. Like on planet Krypton. There ain't no black kryptonite. There ain't no black Kryptonians. There are only white people on that planet in the first Superman movie. I didn't see any black people on that, unless I didn't pay close attention. But as far as I know, Superman and all the rest of the inhabitants on Krypton, they're all white people. Right? So that, again, if white people are watching that, I suspect that they're probably thinking, no matter where you go, if you find these powerful people like Superman, they're all going to be people that are classified as white. And I think it gives racist man and racist woman the added security that even if Superman appears to not like injustice, right? He's for, like Kari and Ahara says, truth, justice, and the American way and all that, right? He can leap tall buildings in a single bound, can fly fast. He can actually, in the first Superman film, he can fly so fast that he can make the earth rotate backwards, thereby reversing time so he can save his girlfriend Lois Lane when she's in a car crash, etc. And he hates, Lex Luthor because Lex Luthor is really bad. But he won't punish the racists. This alien white man, he comes to this planet this planet Earth, and he won't punish the racists, but he's the truth, justice, and blah, blah, blah. He won't punish. He'll never ruin racism, white supremacy for those good white earthlings, these good white earthlings that like to practice racism, white supremacy. He'll rescue a cat from a freaking tree, but he won't rescue one black person if they're being chased by some white people in a pickup truck and stuff like that, right? That's just white supremacist assurance that if you have a powerful white person, alien, whatever, if he comes down here or if she comes down here, whatever, and they see all this racism happening on planet Earth, they ain't gonna do a damn thing about it. that Superman couldn't give a damn about the niggers on planet Earth. And also, there's a famous, right? I'd say it's like a famous white person phrase when talking about racism. You ever find this? Sometimes you talk to white people about racism and they say stuff like, they say stuff like, well, what can we do? What can we do? I'm not Superman. I'm not a super person. If I had superpowers, I'd stop racism. I've heard a lot of white people say stuff like that, or they say, if I had a magic wand, if I could wave a magic wand, I'd end racism. There's lots of white people I've heard say stuff like that when they're talking about racism. If I had superpowers, if I had magic wand, right? You have films like that depict people with special magical powers. None of those white people that have these special magical powers want to end racism, white supremacy. None of them. You have this in X-Men. You got the white mutants, you got black mutants in the X-Men series, right?
Avengers.
They really, right? Avengers, etc., right? They got all these people, white people with superpowers. They're usually concerned about what the humans are trying to do to mutants, right? Trying to wipe out other mutants, but they ain't trying to stop white supremacy, domination of non-white people, specifically black people on this earth. And I just think it's really telling, you know. But anyway, yeah, I'll mute.
Yeah. And I'm gonna keep this pickaxe chucking and diving into this just white psychosis that is embedded in these characters, the superheroes. So we have Superman. What is Superman's weakness? You know, his one weakness is called kryptonite. You know, I decode kryptonite, the prefix crypto meaning hidden. You know, crypto I think means hidden, something that is hidden. And the system on racism and white supremacy, what is hidden? The global system of racism is hidden in plain sight, as Kyrie and O'Hara states, as Neely Fuller states, and as many other attempted counter racists have stated. And I think that's why that's Superman's weakness. You know, the weakness to the system is truth. You know, just the substance of truth is very deadly to the system. Like how it really works, what it's really about. Large number of non-white people comprehending that is deadly. So to the most powerful being in existence in this universe of Superman, you know, what harms him the most is something hidden, which is the truth. I decode as. So really, really interesting. And it is also it's not like any other, it's not some regular piece of material. It's a colored piece of material, a green colored piece of material, you know, that glows, you know. I suspect it also is coded, it could be coded as melanin, you know, a colored substance is weak, you know, or could be both truth, standing for truth, standing for just non-whiteness, blackness, darkness. I hope that makes sense.
Night is in the word, crypto night.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
By the way, as well, I was going to say, I remember, I mean, just for an example of just watching, especially whilst we're victims of this white supremacy system. So in the area of entertainment, just another example of just watching, really paying attention to what you're seeing on the screen, really paying attention to what you're seeing on the screen in terms of the what you can learn, like Neely Fuller Jr., getting lessons from movies, getting lessons from what you see, what you can take from some of these white supremacist programming and stuff. Just having the ability to discern and really just really understand what you're seeing. And a perfect example of this, I remember this is a non-white victim rang into Talktainment on Neely Fuller's broadcast when he was on Talktainment Radio. And this victim was talking, he was saying, back in the day, it was the black and white series of Superman. Right, and it's like he painted this scenario. He's saying that these thieves, these would-be thieves, they broke into this bank. They're in the process of robbing this bank, and then Superman comes up onto the scene. Blah blah blah. Superman just stands there and he's got his arms folded, etc. And he's in front of the armed robbers, and the robbers start shooting at Superman. Now, of course, it's Superman, so he just stands there with his arms folded. He's got a smile on his face. And they just continue to shoot at him. Nothing's happening. Now, out of frustration, the robbers throw the gun at Superman. And guess what Superman does? Superman ducks. Superman ducked so that the gun didn't hit him. Now, what the hell is that, right? Now, if you're not paying attention, that would probably have flown right over your head. And you'd probably think, when you really think about it, what the hell is he ducking for if the bullets don't hurt him? right? So just an example of just paying attention to what we look at on TV when we're seeing things. Don't just just watch something and just let it flow into your mind and just pass out the other side. Just really pay attention, be attuned to what you're watching, and sometimes you can read between the lines and probably try and decipher some of the stuff that they show us here.
Precisely. I think that's a great segue into just the understanding that all of these superheroes, these companies, Marvel, Disney, DC, Dark Horse Comics, Image Comics, they all are here to do one thing, and that's to support the business, the racism and white supremacy. And if you do just do any amateur research, you can easily find like their racist origins, and just the racist hive mind is there. The racist hive mind, how it's just all roads and all things lead to the global system of racism and white supremacy. So there's just some like comics of Superman. Superman, you can slap a jab, because Superman is propaganda. Most things in the system is propaganda. And then we have Superman, Lois Lane. She's using some sort of device to become a Black female, because she's that curiousness, and that subconscious or conscious want that some white people have to be Black, to have darkness, to have color in their existence, in their being. I should say, I shouldn't say existence, I should say being inside them. And then we have, this is the history. We have Superman, mocking a group of people who white people slaughtered, and deceived, and conned for hundreds of years, known as Native Americans. White people also call them red people and or brown people. So and this is a good segue to tie this back to the book, because we have Superman in his Clark Kent form, and I think what Kyrie Harrell says about Clark Kent is also significant. He says here on 213, to hide his real personality and intentions, he takes on a disguise that is the exact opposite of his true identity. Clark Kent is a classic white male supremacist characterization that is used in thousands of racially deceptive scenarios. Clark's character is drawn as a timid, absent-minded gentleman who will not hurt a fly. This is a highly refined and rehearsed image contrived to hide the brutal character and nature of a racist. When racists first appeared on the shores of non-white people, they posed as non-threatening, benevolent characters in search of spices and trade. They said they came in peace to Africa, often posing as Christian missionaries before the commencement of the horrendous chattel slave trade. The Clark Kent character is the classic persona mask of racist deception. I'm just gonna read this again. The Clark Kent character is a classic persona mask of racist deception. The Clark Kent character is designed to gain the trust of the unsuspecting target with well-designed acts of deception. The character is portrayed as harmless, while all the time Clark plots the demise of intended victims. The purpose of Clark Kent character is to get the victim to let his guard down and forget that underneath the smooth, soft demeanor is a raging power with a single purpose: to dominate, control, and contain. In the modern era, this character portrayal is duplicated millions of times, and it is called doing business. The creators of Superman smartly chose not to give the character blonde hair. They correctly understood that this would have been too close to the Nazi concept of the super Aryan. To be a credible character, Superman cannot appear as an overt white racial domination figure. But if you understand the system just a tiny bit, maybe not a tiny bit, but somewhat, you can decode Superman character as being like just a character that represents racial white supremacy, like what it means, how it works. Just like Batman, that deception, that hidden in plain sight. It reminds me of the Bates character from Psycho. he's trying to, when he's in that interrogation room, he's trying to put up a persona that he wouldn't hurt a fly, while all along being a psychopathic, insane murderer. You know, just like Superman, he's like a character who's not really about producing justice, because instead of solving all of the world's problems, which he could, spends his time fighting aliens and deceiving humans, so-called humans. So really telling, really fascinating, and I it makes me appreciate being less confused a lot more, because Area 3, it has some I'm not just watching it and consuming it, wasting time. I'm able to take consume information from Area 3 and produce constructive information content with it. But in the past, I was just confused, and I Batman was one of my favorites, heroes, superheroes, and Superman I didn't care for. But now I understand these characters are just aspects of the white insane mind that is waging a war against non-white people, and we gotta put an end to this nonsense, because yeah, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Superman, another billion-dollar concept that a lot of non-white people love. We got tons of non-white people even have Superman tattoos, not knowing that that's S on his chest might as well be a stand-in for SS. Nazi, not Nazism. But we just are so confused, and we have been trained to be just very, very serious about silly stuff, which is why we would even get a tattoo of anything on us, honestly. But yeah, I think that concludes my notes on Superman. I'll look forward to hearing others share. If they have notes to share, please do.
Yeah, I'll just reiterate. I'll just say that this really is ultimate white supremacist reassurance and reinforcement for white people that watch Superman. It just represents white people who have the ability to end racism will not, and they have not, and they will not ever use their power to end racism. And I think that's just ultimately what Superman, that whole embodiment of Superman is for me. And I suspect that some white people watching that, I think it's quite reassuring for them to see someone like Superman there, has this massive power and ability, but he will never use that power to take racism, white supremacy away from them.
Precisely, and that goes for every single superhero that white people have produced and created. This list has everything. Got Green Lantern here. We're practicing just Green Lantern being a white supremacist. We have Wonder Woman being, white women do it best, honestly. White women do it best, honestly. So all things, Aquaman, what did he said, we even haven't had Aquaman because white people have to control the seas as well, so white people have it covered for that reassurance. These characters, like you said, are like our stand-ins. Like, yeah, we have it taken care of. We control the seas, we control that resource, we control the air, we control the land. We've got it covered. What is Captain Planet doing? He needs help from children to solve his problems. But Superman, Batman, they got it covered. So really interesting, and it definitely gives a new meaning to just superheroes and comic books. And this information, it makes it more interesting to even talk about comic books and whatever, because if you're not talking about these things with the context of race and white supremacy, then I suspect that discussions are very superficial and very just worthless. But I'll meet my line, and I'll see if folks don't have any more notes to share, we can get into closing comments.
I would like to add one part that stood out to me on page 214 when it talks about the Clark Kent character and how it was designed to basically gain the trust of their target market or target. And also talked about how this character was like designed to be an act of deception. I think that's very telling, especially thinking about how racist men and racist women act now, and how everyone is like, oh, well, this is a nice white person or a good white person or someone we can trust, you know, that whole deception of allyship. Or even when people are voting for a so-called president and they're like, well, this one is for the Black community, or this one's going to help the Black community, but it's all just a disguise of it's all a disguise, basically, so they could get the votes, obviously, or just to win Black people over because they're fear of whatever they're fearful of. But I think it's just very important to understand like how racist woman and racist man uses these different disguises for their benefit, especially since they know that once they win over like at least one Black person, they can win over at least 5 more. They just have to, because they know exactly what Black people want. So it's easy for them to make these false promises or say like, oh, I could give you X, Y, and Z, you know, because everyone knows that you have to ask a racist man and racist woman for like a job or for something. So it's almost like, well, if I just play my role in society and act like pretend I'm the ally, I could just checkmate them at the end or checkmate them right now. So this is very telling, very interesting.
Indeed. Thank you, Miss Nana.